And welcome back into another edition of Panther Pride here on TV 24. Mickey Shaddricks with Welborn head coach Jeff Smith. Friday night, coach, no other way to put it, just a region heartbreaker. Your team goes on the road at Randolph County, loses in overtime 28-27, essentially knocking you out of another trip to the playoffs, which is a regular occurrence out Welborn Way over the last 7 years. But anyway, just a tough game. Your team actually led the game at halftime, 14-0. You had a 20-6 lead going into the fourth quarter, and they were able to come back, get it into overtime, and won the game on a 2-point conversion at the end. Talk about the loss from your perspective.
Well, it's a very disappointing loss, to say the least. And what I hurt for mostly is our seniors, because I really feel like, even though this year has not went the way we wanted to, I feel like our seniors have really went out there and done everything we've asked of them, and have tried to lead the team the best that they possibly can, and that's who I hurt for today. Effort-wise, it is probably the best effort that we've had this football season. I felt like we really played well the whole game, played the game well, and it just came down to that last play in overtime, and they made it and we didn't. But as far as the effort from our players, it was outstanding. And the hurt right now is for our seniors, because they gave so much, and I really appreciate that, and they've really represented our school and community the right way.
And I know another frustrating point for you and your players is it seems like even though you lost Friday night, it was, I think, one of your better overall games you've had this year, going on the road and being up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. Then the way you played the week before against Glencoe, it seems like you're hitting your stride right now, but
yes.
But because of some earlier season losses kind of in the middle of the season, you're not going to be able to test yourselves in the playoffs this year.
That's right. The last 2 weeks we played very well, both offensively and defensively. Now, we gave up some points at Glencoe. Well, a couple of those touchdowns were late touchdowns where we led the game. But, we kind of found our identity again these last 2 weeks where, we are a running football team. We're a base of a wing tee, and, when we do that, we're good at it. And, I think we've really kind of found ourselves and got back to doing the things that got us where we're at now.
And before we go to break, and we'll see the highlights here in just a minute, Randolph County is a good football team.
Absolutely.
They're really playing well right now. They put 61 on Weaver the week before, and you had them at 6 points going into the fourth quarter at their stadium. So they're a very quality opponent that you played last Friday night.
Oh, absolutely. And also, they've got some issues going on with their facilities and everything. There's a lot of things prior to the game we had to overcome. We had to literally dress in their auditorium and then bus back to the football field, and then take our groups out and warm them up, and then before the game, and then at halftime we had no place to go. We had to just stay out there, out in the fields and everything. And those were tough situations to get over, and our kids overcame all that. I mean, they really handled the adverse situations well. We overcome some penalties that we got in the game, overcame them well, and made some good fourth down plays. And I was just proud of their effort and the resiliency that they showed during the game. And I'll tell you something else we've done the last 2 weeks. We've played more as a team again. And, we're the last 2 weeks we've played Welborn Panther football, and I'm so proud to see that again.
All right, we'll take a break and come back with first half highlights of Welborn at Randolph County here on Panther Pride.
Take it to the
And we head down to Wedowee. Welborn coming on the field, playing at Randolph County, Big 3A Region 5 matchup on Friday night.
We received the opening kickoff. Here you see Javion Thomas, who's really played good the last couple of weeks himself too. We have a decent kickoff return here, and we start the game off with a great first drive. We had a good first down play. That was the second down play. We ran a bootleg. Here you see Montgomery making a good cut right here, and we scored the first drive of the game. Went up 7-0. All right, that we came out on defense and responded there. See Jamisho Elson making a good tackle there. He's a senior. Again, they ran their veer play right here, and we were able to penetrate and hit the mesh and Chandler Cup recovered the fumble. Here they covered up the receivers right here and also made a good decision and ran and got us a first down right there. That was a big play in the game. We're coming up here, you see right here we had that was on a quarterback sneak right there. We had good push right there up the middle, and he almost popped out and scored on that play. Got down there, that was a fourth down play right there. We was trying to throw it in there. It was like 4th and 9 right there, and we wasn't able to converge on it. Now here they come back. Again, they're a very talented team with a lot of good skill players and everything. You see them here running a quarterback draw here, and we come up, made a stop right there, and held them on 4th down, and we got the ball back. And we're bringing the ball back up the field, just getting some good yards right there. Montgomery, he rushed for 144 yards and had a touchdown here. And actually in the last 2 games, he's got 400 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Right here, we made Walker Hayes catches the ball off a tip right here. The pass was intended for Dylan Grubbs, and he makes a good catch. This is right before the half. And then we quarterback sneak it in here with 10 seconds left on the clock here before halftime, and we're up 14-0. They came up, again, a good football team here. Their quarterback here is trying to throw the ball down the field. He pulls it down, starts running with it, and he's all over the place here. That's Coach Prestridge's son that's playing quarterback here. And a lot of these coaches' sons that you go against right there, they know the game and know how to play. Kane Pitts come up with a good stop right there and makes that tackle right before the half.
And there you see the halftime score. Coach, you got to be feeling pretty good where you are right now. 14-0 on the road. You're carrying some momentum. Well, I guess you're not carrying it into the locker room because, as you mentioned, you didn't have a place to go at halftime, but at least you head into the halftime period with feeling pretty good about how your team's played in the first half.
No, I was very pleased with how they're playing. And, when you go out there and the kids are making play, like you call a play and they not only execute the play but go above the play, you know your team's in good shape, and that's what was happening in the first half. I was just real proud of it. Again, that team scored 61 points on Weaver the week before, and we had them shut out the first half right there. So that kind of tells you how well we were playing. Any
major adjustments that you were looking to make here at the break?
Well, when we settled them down at halftime, we just kind of reinforced some technique. Went over a few plays on offense, what they were actually doing when we would unbalance and stuff on them. Who they were moving, when we would show them unbalance. And then on defense, we basically went over that quarterback draw. They hurt us with a quarterback draw a couple of times right there and made sure that we had everybody on that.
All right, we'll come back in just a moment with second half highlights as we go to break. Here's a look at the Wellborn High School marching band. And we head into second half highlights. Coach up 14-0 heading into the second half.
Well, you saw we started we ground kicked the kickoff, and what they like to do is run a return down their sideline. So we was trying to ground kick away from that to keep them from getting a return. Here you can see we're playing just outstanding defense. We talked to the kids about the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and we came out there and had a good stop right here. Kane Pitts on a great tackle there. We had a good stop to start the third quarter out. And here they run a reverse. They come out there. Montgomery makes a good tackle there, knocks him out of bounds. But we started out the first 5 minutes of the third quarter there and had a good stop. Now we went 3 and out ourselves on our first drive, and then they got the ball back, and this is when they get their first score in right there. So with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter is when they get on the board. Now we come back here, and you saw we had a good block over quarterback Austin McQueen, and Javion Thomas took the ball around right there, and then we go up right now 20 to 6 on them. We missed our extra point then. So it was just a little time left in the third quarter. We're up 20 to 6. They start their return here. Again, they were very good on kickoff returns and punt returns. We worked real hard during the week on that. Here they get the back loose. That was actually the play that they scored in overtime on. They unbalanced to one side and went back to the side that they had unbalanced from, and ran a sweep play right there. And he got loose. We ran inside some blocks right there, and he got loose down the sideline. Here we have a kickoff return. We fumble the football. Okay, they get the football here. But now our defense really went out there and stepped it up right there, and we got us a good stop here. You see Walker here coming off the edge right there, and we forced a fumble there, but they recovered it. But we have a good stop right here. Well, we had a good stop that play anyway, that series right there, and then they came up and got the ball back again, and they ran that post corner and scored on it. And here they ran that sweep play again and scored and tied the game up, with 10 minutes. Now we make us a real good drive ourselves, and this was right here with just a few minutes left in the game right there. We tried to throw the ball in on a smash route right there and threw in the coverage right there, and they picked it up. We go in overtime. They win it. They go on defense first. Then, of course, we go in on offense right there, and on the second play we score, and we kick our extra point up. We're up by 7. Now we got to stop them, and here I think this is a touchdown or the 2-point play. I think that was a touchdown, and here's a 2-point play here, and they get it in, when we saw our film and everything, they've got 4 blockers out there, and we've got 4 defenders out there, and they just they made the play and they got the touchdown, and we lost by a point. It's a very heartbreaking loss. Again, very heartbreaking for our seniors. I really hate that for them. I think they've meant a lot to our program through the years, and I really wanted to see them make it to the playoffs. The only good thing about it is they just they put everything that they had into the game, and I think when they look back, they're going to see that and be proud of the effort that they gave.
Incredible game. I think one of the better games that we had in this entire area on Friday night, the Wellborn and Randolph County game. What do you say in the locker room? This is a tough spot for a coach, and I'm sure as long as you've been in this business, you've had these moments. How do you deal with your kids in the locker room after such a heartbreaking loss?
Well, I gathered them all together, and I told them, number one, how proud I was of them. Because I was disappointed with the loss, but I was not disappointed with the effort. I was very proud to stand on the sideline and watch them play as hard as they did. I think anybody that went to the game or heard about the game would feel the same way. So, number one, I told them how proud I was of them, and I told them, if I could take that hurt off of them and just me take it, I would, because they deserved to win the football game, and with the effort that they gave, it just, this came up a little short.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll break down the individual player awards from the Randolph County game. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back on Panther Pride, and Coach, time now to recognize some fine young men who had some great performances on Friday night in the loss to Randolph County. Here's our individual player awards for the week.
Scrambler was Zach Chandler. He played the best football game he's ever played for us on the offensive line. Racehorse was Jordan Montgomery. Again, he had 144 yards on 20-something carries and a touchdown. Headhunter was Jordan Montgomery, had 10 tackles. Big Hog was our best defensive line linebacker performance. That's Kane Pitts. Pancake Block, Zach Chandler, again, played the best ball game he's ever played for us. Hardest hit was Lamarion Roden. He came down on a kickoff and destroyed a fella from Randolph County, and very proud of him. Meanest Panthers, Jordan Montgomery. The 12th man was Chandler Cup. Chandler Chandler punts for us right there, and he has done an outstanding job of that this year right there. We've had very few punt returns on us, and it's all due to his punting. Offensive Player of the Week was Zach Chandler. He graded, in the high 70s on the offensive line, and then Defensive Player of the Week was Jordan Montgomery with a 10-tackle performance.
Coach, a couple of footnotes before we move on to, because there is you've got a home game to wrap up the regular season. It'll be senior night, so we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But a couple of footnotes from Friday night. You had a great turnout with your fans. Matter of fact, you almost had as many as they did, if not more, at Randolph County. So talk about the community support you had Friday night.
Well, when we play a football game, whether we're home or away, generally we're always going to have more people than the other team. And, the Wellborn community is going to come out and support the football team. And when we're on the road, generally we have more people than our their home team. And Friday night I felt we did, at Randolph County, I felt like we took more people down there than they had in their home stands right there. And they were really behind the team. Man, the band was great Friday night. I mean, we during the critical times, they were playing hard and everything, and I made sure after the game I told them how we appreciated them and everything they've done in support. I think the band has had a great season this year, and proud of them and their support and how they get into the game and help the team.
And in sports, we hear about all kinds of streaks, but all good streaks have to come to an end. This will be the first time since you've been at Wellborn that you won't be in the playoffs. I know that's got to be a tough pill to swallow also.
Oh, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. But, maybe the good out of this will be this is I hate it for our seniors, but maybe it'll make our underclassmen a little more hungry to go to the playoffs for next year. And get out there and compete for that state championship, because after you go 7 straight years of playoffs, so these kids that we have now did not see it when we started off and built the program up. We got some good things to accomplish Friday night. Number one, it's going to be senior night. I want our seniors to go out on a good note. We've got our last, of course, it's a home game. We're going to play on Thursday night on top of that, and I want us to go out there and play well. And I want us to send these seniors out on a good win right there, and then that will give us a winning season for the year. And with the region that we played in, with the quality teams that we play in our region and outside the region, have a winning season, that's still a good accomplishment.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment to put a wrap on this week's show. We'll look ahead to the matchup with White Plains on Thursday night. And there you see this week's matchup. It'll be Wellborn back at home to host White Plains. It's a Thursday night game, kickoff 7 o'clock out at the Hill at Wellborn. As we mentioned earlier in the program, it is senior night. And Coach, that's been a theme of yours throughout this entire program, is how disappointed and heartbroken you are for your seniors and that you won't be able to make that 8th straight playoff appearance. But this is a night to honor your seniors, an opportunity, as you said, to finish the season with a winning record and send those seniors out with a win.
Yes, and I think that's very important. Those seniors that we had are winners, and they've been a part of a lot of winning, that we've done at Wellborn. Actually, they played they started out when we went to the Champions Challenge to now. And, for us to go out there this Thursday and them to get out there and play and to get a win to finish out their careers, I think it means a lot.
All right, the opponent, White Plains, they've struggled all season, but obviously you can't take anyone for granted on any given week. Talk about the matchup with the How do you match up with the Wildcats?
Well, they are struggling, and they're trying to search for things to do. I've watched them and everything, and they're a little different than they were in the spring. They're trying to add some different formations and some different looks. Number one, we've got to first go out there and get lined up against everything that they're doing offensively, and then two, we've got to get out there and block them when we're on offense. And and they also, they do some things in the kicking game that we've got to be prepared for too. So we've just got to have a good week, make sure the kids are prepared. But, most importantly, this week right here, I want this to be a fun week for the seniors. And I don't mean a cut-up week, but I want them to go out there and enjoy these last few days that they've got with us and and go out there Thursday and get a win and finish on a high note. It's disappointing in the season, but now this is their last week, okay? And they can go in their last week and win their last football game. Whereas when you're in the playoffs, unless you win the state championship, you finish out the season with a loss. So they've got a chance to do something that a lot of people don't get to, and that's win their last football game. And so I really want to highlight that this week.
And we will be with you next week for our final Panther Pride show of the season. And Coach, we plan to have a special feature with that special group of seniors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next week here on Panther Pride.
Take it to the house.